Hello, friends and fans from all over the world. This is the Kiwi Buzzsaw, Travis Banks, ex WWE wrestler, and current professional wrestler in Mexico, Sans Company. I am back with another exciting episode of the Buzz Talk podcast. What's up with wrestling? And I know it's been a little moment before since I've done the last one, but that's because so many things have happened, and I promised you a major announcement um, in the last one, and we never we never actually got to it. Sorry, I was a little bit distracted because as soon as I started recording, somebody started like it sounded like throwing marbles on the roof of my apartment. So that's why I was a little bit like, what the hell? So yeah, it's yeah, it's been a very interesting few weeks. A lot of like interesting things happening. We did promise you a major announcement, and as you can tell, I'm flying solo today. So without further ado, even though she's been there for a month, Jessica Jackson has gone to Japan for her first tour. And if I had like a switchboard with like claps, that's where I'd put it in. And if I was not lazy with editing the sound of this, I would put it in. But I don't know how to do it. So if somebody could teach me, that would be amazing. But yeah, so Jess is in Japan for 3 months. That means I'm in Mexico by myself for 2 more months. She's already been there a month, and as far as I can tell, she is doing incredible. Her first match there, um, she teamed with some of the top girls and did well. She wrestled a girl from Spain called Sarah Leon or Miriam Torres. I don't know. I can't tell. I don't remember which one's the real name, which one's the wrestling name. I don't remember. Whatever. As well, and then she wrestled a young girl yesterday, the day before, and yeah, so I'm really excited for her and the opportunity that she has in front of her. She worked hard for that opportunity as well, and what I mean by that is not only did she come to, I guess we could get into it a little bit as well. Not only did she come and really take a risk on her career and a chance on her career here in Mexico, the stuff that we've faced here, and I've said this in posts and whatever else, the stuff that we've faced here is and it's not a complaint. It's just the way that the scene is. It's just unreal. And to start your career here in Mexico cannot be because she did wrestle a little bit before she came here, but you know she really started here and sunk her teeth into the scene here, and to navigate the scene, the Mexican wrestling scene, the politics of it is fuck. I can't even imagine. Like for me, it was hard, and I have a little bit of a name value, so for her, it's like just being somewhat impossible. And then on top of that, they have this really old school mentality. Not everybody, and I'm not talking about more professional people, but there is a mentality here of like the girls just want to beat you up, and like make you prove and earn your place or whatever. And a lot of her beginning matches here, um, she would just come back crying. And I know she probably hate me telling you that, but like, yeah, she come back crying. What am I doing wrong? Like, a lot of self reflection and stuff like that. And I was like, look, it's just the scene. It's how it is. Like, just keep pushing through. And I've seen it develop into like such a wonderful professional wrestler. It's really been a joy to watch. And on top of that, supported me through everything. And then on top of that, been trying to push for her own opportunities, sending emails every day. You know, me and her have shared frustrations and like things aren't happening, or we feel like we're sitting on our hands sometimes. But it's yeah, and then eventually Japan finally responded to her, and she created the opportunity. And I am very excited to see not just the growth of a professional wrestler, the growth as a person as well. Because when I did my tour in 2012, Japan was 0-1. It was like one of those times I think in your life where you really figure out who you are and what what you're about and what you can handle, and is this business for you and stuff. So that was such a big time in my life for growing and developing as a person and being in a different country as well. Like it was just the best time. It was exceptional, and Japan treats everybody really well, really respectful. Um, so yeah, so just really, really excited for her, and I know she will be wrestling in Korakuen Hall soon, very famous arena in Japan. I was very fortunate to wrestle there twice, and yeah, so the fact that she gets to follow in my footsteps, no, I don't know, no, 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 I guess share the what am I trying to say here? She gets to share okay, yeah, she gets to share an experience that I hold fondly in my memories. So so yeah, so very very excited for her, and if you're not keeping up with it, make sure you follow her on social media and show your support and stuff like that. So that's awesome. I don't think she's back in Mexico until September. So as I said, I'm in my house. Very, very hard without her. Well, it kind of gets into the next point because I was supposed to have a really busy July, and July was, I had a lot of bookings, and I was thinking, okay, Jess is gone. I can really just knuckle down and just really focus on wrestling and getting my work done and getting more opportunities and moving forward. And the day she went was a Sunday, and I had a show for a company called Coachella's Lucha Libre out of Cococo. It was actually a show. The my match was actually kind of tacked on a little bit. Like the promoter paid for the match. It was for WLS Wrestling League Society, and it was a title match, and we got put onto the show. And so said goodbye to Jess in the morning. Very sad. Don't worry though. Go to go to the show. I could go to the show and concentrate and really focus and hit it out. And unfortunately, in this match, I hyperextended my knee. So Jess was gone. Hyperextended my knee, couldn't finish the match, and I was just, I wasn't in a great way, you know. And if you know me, like I've had various, I'll get onto them in a second. I've had various injuries over the course of my career, but nothing ever really to do with my knee, so it was really concerning, and it's kind of I'm still sort of like resting up and healing from it. And as I said before, July was supposed to be a full month. I had to start pulling out of bookings. I try to go and do. I was really looking forward to one match in particular for Riot Wrestling in Monterrey. It was me versus Renee Rocks versus Eric Ortiz for the title, and Riot, and it was a really cool opportunity for me to you know, I really wanted to do it, and I didn't want to pull out of that booking. So stupid me. I tried to just do the best I could and soldier through it. Tape my knee up, and I genuinely thought it was okay. And we kind of planned the match around if I could run or jump. But yeah, the show was long, so I was dead. I think we went out at like 12:40 in the morning. Yeah, 12:40 a.m. Like I think our match went on because the show didn't finish until around 1:10 or something like that. And yeah, I did my best I could. One part of the match was a little jumping spot where I had to pop up into a power bomb, and I just felt my knee click, and I thought, oh shit. It came okay in the match, but for me personally, like it's either 100% or it's nothing. And if I can't be my full self in the ring, it just doesn't feel right. I can't be super aggressive. I can't be super fired up. Can't be super, you know, my the version of me. All I was doing was just thinking about my knee. So after that match, even though I got through it, I found a really really good physio here in Mexico City, and he's been looking after me ever since. But I had to pull out of a lot of bookings, and that sucks. It's my income. Um, but yeah, And then yeah, so I had to pull out of a few, and then I wrestled the other day in Oaxaca, whatever. You know what I'm saying. I don't know, Oaxaca City, and it was for Cinta de Oro, which is the second Sin Cara's promotion, and I won a trophy with a bum knee. Again, I had to work around it a lot, and it didn't feel too stable, so I just planned it smartly, but I still wasn't 100%. So I pulled out of another one last weekend, and I was supposed to wrestle Belial for Memes, and I've only heard good things about him, so I was kind of excited for that. But health comes first. And now we've got a couple more weeks before a massive 4-day tour back to back. Guatemala, Monterrey, Nuevo Laredo, and Aeropuerto. So just trying to get myself right for that. And yeah, but I tell you what, having an injury sucks because I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me that overthinks everything uh, and really worries about you know, like when my knee when it, I'll tell you how it happened in a sec. But when it first happened and I couldn't like stand up on it, I was just thinking, oh fuck, I'm done. You know what I mean? I'm absolutely done. I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna be out forever. Never gonna come right. So I was it's been a tricky last 3 4 weeks. Um, but we're getting there, and it's okay. It's still a little bit stiff, but yeah. What happened was a guy was supposed to give a guy a move in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, cover, and I was supposed to come off the top rope with a double stomp and get him. Now, not to blow smoke up my own asshole, but I have a pretty good jump. Like I can jump pretty far, and he was kind of a little far out anyway. But I was like, I can definitely get him. It doesn't matter. But as I was preparing to jump, and as I jumped, the guy did the move, covered him, and for some reason they just started rolling further, like closer to the ropes, and they were way too far. So I was like mid jump, I was like, I have to bail. So I went to just kind of like land on my feet, and my fucking knee went backwards. Not too bad, and it's not as bad as I thought it initially was, but yeah, but it just tweaked it, and I was like, oh shit, something's definitely wrong here. And then one of the guys was trying to pick me up. He was like to carry on the match, and I just couldn't stand up. And I was like, he was like, come on, let's go. And I was like, so I was going, fuck off, fuck off. And then the ref like took me out. So yeah, that wasn't fun, not fun at all. Um, but we shall see. I'm gonna wrap it up, and hopefully these 4 days go well. But yeah, so just injuries in wrestling, man. Like it's so hard in wrestling to kind of bounce back from injuries because we're always constantly wrestling every weekend, putting that wear and tear on our bodies. And yeah, just I don't know, like just again, I've never had a knee injury, so it was like kind of like threw my confidence out the window a little bit. And I like to run hard and hit people hard in the ring, and I can't do that at the moment, and I feel just a little bit lousy. So yeah, but just injuries. Um, yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about injuries. What have I been up to with injury? Like, what's been my worst injuries? So this knee one's probably, no, I wouldn't say it's up there, but it's definitely like a cause for concern just because of the instability. But there's been a few other ones that have been pretty bad. Well, the worst one was, well, no, I'll get to the worst one. I remember when I first got to the UK. It might have been in that first year that I was there. I was wrestling for a charity show for um, Southside Wrestling, and it was a charity show for Chris Travis, who had passed away because of stomach cancer. I think I don't remember the exact cause. And it was me versus Mark Andrews versus Wild Boar versus either I don't remember if it was Tyler or if it was Ligero, but it was a four-way. We were doing a spot where I was the heel, everybody else was faces, and we're doing a spot where like I would turf somebody out and they would dive on me. No, no, no. sorry, I would get turfed out. They would dive on me. The other person would do the same. The other person would do the same. Then I'd turf all three of them out, and I'd go to do it like a just a like a house show dive, which is just kind of like leaping over the rope. And they all would split apart, and I would land on my feet. And then all three of them would super kick me on the outside. That was the idea, right? But when I first got to the UK, I was so fired up to wrestle that I would do everything like 150,000%. Like if I was gonna go over the rope, I'd fucking like fly over the rope, hit the floor hard, and all the stuff, you know. And I did so. I went to do my house show dive, and instead of landing on my feet, I kind of just plunged the floor instead. But as the same time that I plunged the floor, I punched the floor with my left hand and broke my wrist. and now, and I knew it was broken straight away. But the thing was, I had a show the next day, and I wasn't sure how the health system worked in the UK either. And I was really new there, and I didn't have any bookings. I didn't want to start pulling out of them. I didn't have much money, so I, yeah, I just carried on, and I never got it checked, and I still can't bend it to this day. So it was the worst pain. I couldn't even sleep that night. Any position that I got into, my arm was like on fire. So I definitely needed to get it checked, but I just didn't. Oh, wrestling, I tell you. Yeah. So, but then the next week I had a show because it's hard to grip with my left hand as well. Well, at that time especially as well. And I used to do this thing where like I would they would grab me by the back of the head and throw me out over the top rope, and I'd take a massive like cartwheel spill to the floor. It was always safe, right? And the next week after I had injured my wrist, I went to do the same thing at a show in Birmingham, I think, for Kamikaze, and I got I th- I went to throw myself over like I would. I went to grab onto the rope, but I literally had no power in my hand to grab it, and I missed the rope completely, and I ended up just literally jumping out of the ring, backflip like front flipping, and just landing on my back on the concrete, and my legs went like a little numb, and I was like, oh jeez. I just remember looking up and an old lady looking down on me from her seat, being like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Nah, nah, I'm not good. I'm not good, lady." Oh yeah, wrestling, eh? And then yeah, and I don't remember. There's been a few really bad ones. I'll get to the worst one in a second. I got super kicked in the face one time by David Starr, uh, and it was at Super Strong Style 16, 2000. I want to say 18, maybe 19, maybe 19. It was at Alexandra Palace. Oh yeah, might have been. Yeah, I think it was 2019. And he super kicked me so hard in my mouth that my bottom teeth came through the bottom of my lip, and there was blood just everywhere. And yeah, I'll tell you what, I was quite angry when I got back backstage. Let me tell you, and that took a long time to heal. I didn't get stitches, which I probably should have, but that took. I can still feel the scar in my mouth now. That took a very long time to heal, and yeah. But the very worst one that I did was I just signed with WWE. Um, we were on our contracts. We were able to still wrestle independent matches, and the thing was like it was because they weren't sure what the UK stuff was yet, and this was before NXT UK. So on our contracts, we were still able to wrestle um, independent shows to keep our income up and stuff like that. So they eventually signed up the NXT UK deal. We're going to start the TV tapings. And the night before, I actually had a Fight Club Pro match and I wrestled Kyle Fletcher. I was supposed to wrestle somebody else, but the match got changed. And this this always happens for some reason, and I don't know why. Like you, like I had this. I, the match originally planned was me versus Niwa. If anybody knows who Niwa is, like one of the guys that I started with, one of my best friends. And it was like he was supposed to debut for Fight Club. I was really excited about it, really about like doing the match with him. We had like planned the whole thing. I was really like, it was good energy in my mind. And then the match, like last minute got changed. And I just had like an odd feeling about it. And to be honest, the match before the injury, it just wasn't going well. It seemed a little rushed and a little like chaotic. And the energy was a little off. So, just something was wrong about it, and then eventually got injured, and that always happens. It was the same with my knee. I wasn't really feeling the match. I wasn't really like sold on it mentally in my mind, and then I tweaked my knee. It was the same thing here, and yeah, and just yeah. So anyway, in the match, Kyle picked me up, and he was gonna give me like a what is it called? A lawn dart, which is like for the people that maybe don't really know. It's like up on his shoulders, facing like my stomach's on his shoulders, and he's got me in like a I guess you look like a bazooka or like a grenade launcher position, and they throw you head first at the corner buckle, the middle corner buckle. And because I had WWE the next day, I was like being extra like cautious about like getting injured, which is in hindsight now stupid to think about because you should just wrestle like how you always do. They shouldn't ever be different. And like for some reason, I try to protect my face with my left arm, and as I was going down into the buckle, I grabbed the buckle with my left hand, but my head slipped under it instead of just taking the force. Usually I would just eat it on my face and it would be fine. But this one I put my hand there to protect my face, and I caught the buckle, but my because of the force, my head slipped under it, and my arm went up above my head and like dislocated. And as I brought it back down, it didn't go into the socket. It went into my chest. And um, oh, it was my right arm. Sorry, it's because I was like doing it as I was speaking into the microphone. I was doing it with my left arm. It was my right arm. Sorry. Yeah, and yeah, and it came down and it was in my chest. And I looked down and I was like, oh fuck, that doesn't look good. For whatever reason, I tried to like pull it up myself and like go like in a circle, and it just wouldn't go in at all. And I was like, fuck. We had a few more things. Like the next spot was supposed to be, I think Kyle goes to the top rope, he jumps off, and I super kick him out of the air. And he went to do it. I literally, for whatever reason, I couldn't lift my leg. I like kicked him in the stomach as he came down, and I just said to him, I was like, "We need to go to the finish." So we did the finish, and the worst part was, I he had to pin me right because it was a spot where I would jump into the corner for my corner kick, and Kid Lycos would hit me with a baking tray. And then as I go down, he would like cover me, and I was like, so I got hit with the baking tray and went down. The biggest pain was when Kyle dived on me for the pin because he like squished onto my arm, and fucking hell, like one, two, three, I literally just rolled out. I just ran straight to the back. Um, Ambulance was called. They gave me like the most amount of like gas and air that they were allowed to, but it didn't change anything. They gave me some morphine, like whatever the limit of morphine, but it didn't change anything. Put me in the thing. Um, in the ambulance, every little bump on the way to the hospital was so fucking painful. And yeah, so they I got wheeled in, and the doctor came, assessed me, and he. I remember him saying to me, he goes, "Well, we've got good news and we've got bad news. The good news is you're a very muscular boy." And I said, "Well, fuck, thank you very much, doc." But I was like, "But can you please fucking do something about my arm?" He goes, "But so the bad news is we're gonna have to knock you out. With a roundhouse kick? No, I don't know. No, just knock us out, knock me out, whatever. However they do that, and then we're gonna have to like put it back in the socket." And I was like, "Please, just fucking knock me out, so I don't have to fucking feel this pain anymore." And so they did that. Um, you know, count backwards from 10, and then you wake up a little bit later, and that was like pain relief, ultimate pain relief, and it was like amazing. And the doctor was telling me, he goes when you he goes when you're under, we had to get like a couple of nurses to like help like pull it up. He goes, then when it like clicked back into place, apparently I woke up. I don't remember this at all, obviously. He goes, and you just screamed like "fucking cunts." sorry for sorry for the crude language, but like yeah, yeah, you screamed it at like the top of your lungs, and then you just went back to sleep. And I was like, fuck. I was like, I'm so sorry. So yeah, so that was bad, and then the worst thing was WWE had a lot of plans for me, and the next day I had to go in to work and be like, I fucking dislocated my shoulder, and they were obviously annoyed, and they changed the contracts after that. You couldn't wrestle before a taping, like two. I think it was like something like 2 weeks before. Just to give yourself some leeway. So they changed the contracts because of me, and it sucked because I was scheduled to be out for 6 months, and I managed to come back in three, and I had felt at that time like I was positioned for a top spot, like they had plans for me because I had done the tournament previously and I went to the finals. And when I came back, it's just the nature of the machine. New people have slotted into those sort of spots, and they didn't seem to have any more ideas for me. So like whenever I get injured, like it just kind of freaks me out a bit because I don't want to like miss out on the work. You know, especially at that time in my life, I didn't really have much else going on. Work was my life. This was before Jess, and yeah, so work was my life, and so I was sitting out of those shows, just watching in the back, trying to rehab as fast as I could, and then you know missing out. I can hear music, just missing out on like a lot of indie shows as well, and just yeah, it wasn't great, and I'm trying this time with my knee more specifically to kind of just take some time off mentally as well because wrestling can get on top of you like that. So if there's any like young wrestlers out there listening, like if you get injured, like just use it as a time for a little bit of a break and get your head right as well because wrestling can be all encompassing, can be all consuming. So yeah, that's um that's where we're at with that. And I think there's other various little injuries that I've got over the years. Um, Nothing too noteworthy, like my wrist, my shoulder, and my my knee right now. Yeah. So I think right now we'll get on to the question segment with some questions from people on the social medias. This is from my bro Troy Prime. Right, here we go. Let's bloody get into it. Let's wrap your bloody head around these ones. All right. Would you rather fight 10 horse-sized ducks or 100 duck-sized horses? Fuck. Oh yeah, let me think about that. I think, to be honest, I could probably get through the 100 duck-sized horses. You'd be kicking them, wouldn't you? I honestly don't think I'd get too tired, like, getting through the 100. I can do a lot of squats and stuff, so... I've taken a Taibo class once before, and I made it through it, so I think I can get through that. I think if you saw a duck the size of a horse and 10 of them, that'd be pretty terrifying to be honest. And don't fucking like ducks have lice as well? So you've got fucking 10 horse-sized ducks. Does that mean they're fucking lice scales with them as well? Because then we're talking a whole fucking different story here, guys. Yeah, I reckon I can get through 100 duck-sized horses. I'm just trying to think about it. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. All right, moving on. This is from Jeff 278. Is Travis going to wrestle in Japan also? You guys would make a great team there. Thanks, Jeff, for your question. I would love to go back to Japan. Um, but I've been reaching out, trying to see if anybody's interested. But it's been a hard sort of road. Trying to come back after speaking out and clear a reputation and stuff like that. So as far as Japan goes, I'm not sure. I would love to. I've ever since I came back from Japan in 2013. Like I went in 2012 at the end of the year, and I came back in 2013 just before my birthday. I always said like this. Like it was like I loved it there. It was like I just want to go back, and I was supposed to go back in 2019. I want to say it was supposed to be a Fight Club Pro, like joint show in Kodokan Hall, and the match was going to be me and Jordan Devlin versus uh, Sekimoto and Okabayashi, and that was like a fucking dream match for me. But WWE actually said no to it at the time, even though I was like, please just let me do this. So when the show was on, um, and I was checking my social media, I was actually in just like a fucking. It was like a promo class, but it was like an improv class, and it wasn't really like an important class. And I was just seeing like the notifications come up on my phone, and I was like, fuck, because it was like my dream to go back. And like Sekimoto was like one of the guys that I always wanted to wrestle. I was supposed to wrestle him when I was in Japan in 2012, but one of the shows got cancelled because of a fire code violation. I was supposed to wrestle him, and if I did like a good job, because I had been on like a bit of a roll, then if I wrestled Sekimoto, I was supposed to then go for the junior heavyweight title in 0-1, but it never came to fruition. So I felt like I just want to go back because I love the culture and I love the respectfulness of everybody and stuff. Okay, moving on from Thai. Is it coming home this year? I don't know. I keep hearing about it. No, I'm not really into fucking English football. I'm only into it as much as Jess is into it. You know what I mean? So I don't think it actually. I think as of recording this, I don't think it actually came home. I remember a few years ago that was all the rage to say, and I kept making statuses about it. But yeah, I don't think it's come home. This is from Jessica Jackson Pro on Instagram. Scale of 1 to 10, how much are you missing me right now? Uh, shit, fuck. Oh shit. I don't even think you can fucking rank it, Jess. To be honest. A lot. As I said before, I'm crying every day. I literally just stand at the window sometimes and I look out and I watch the birds fly by. And I see the sun in the sky, or sometimes the moon. It could be day or night. Doesn't really matter. And I think, wonder if Jess is looking at the sky right now, the same sky, wherever she is. And it just makes me miss you more. No, it's something to think about. All right. And Jamie Ogden asked the question: Any regret? Fucking any regrets? Oh, fucking hell! I think fucking get your pen and pad, and we'll start fucking listing them down. I don't know. Yeah. Um, I try not to think about regrets in that sense because a lot of like the things that I regret actually kind of led me to a better path. Um, like for example, everything that I've gone through with speaking out. It was like started when me and Jess started seeing each other, and if it wasn't for that, I don't feel like we probably would have been, but like it like forced me and Jess to get really close and like have a really like tight bond from the start, and really have like honest conversations about who you are as a person, you know. And all of speaking out for me as well is like it's really made me like think about who I am and what I represent and like how I want people to see me and also like not accepting what how do I explain this? Not accepting what people will label you as, because a lot of people were saying like I'm a bad person, and for a little while I just believed it. I was like, well, if I'm a fucking bad person, I'm a bad person. And then after a while, like this whole thing kind of just made me no, no. I know my values. I know my ethics, my morals, and stuff like that, and it's made me believe in myself like a whole lot more. And if it wasn't for speaking out, I would still be like trapped in like a toxic circle of friends, friends that really didn't serve who I am as a person. Um, and um, I would still be like trying to like uh get their respect. Like I'd be still trying to beg for their respect, you know. And that's not who I am, and that's who I was at that point, and I didn't really like who I was. So speaking out kind of rattled the cage or like shook the foundation, and it made me, you know, really change. Like it's not like I was like I need to fucking change, but it just made me change into a better, more understanding person, and more empath, and also too, I'm more empathetic now than I ever have been in my whole life. More understanding of people's situations, and yeah, and if you want to say speaking out was a regret, like how can it be a regret when so many good positive things personally for me came out of it? And also too, then like you say that, like I wasn't able to wrestle in the UK, and it came to Mexico. I met so many fucking fantastic people in Mexico as well. Like, how can that be a regret? I've met people here that have like really shown me like true like care and really care about me as a person, not just about me as a wrestler. I don't feel like people are always just using me for if I can get them somewhere. You know, and how can that be a regret? You know, I'm sure there is like some things. There's regrets like I wish I fought for myself harder in WWE. Maybe stuff like that. Um, you know, do I regret maybe not fighting for my position in progress a little bit harder? Because there's a lot of I guess these are just superficial things, but like there was things there where like the promoters were really like at the time I felt especially like disrespect me as a person, and just because I was kind of riding the high of like the success, I just kind of left it. But maybe that's a regret. But again, like it's kind of led me to where I am now. So I don't know. I think it's easy like to look at that question and like laugh like I did initially and go, "Whoa, fuck, here's the regrets." You know what I mean? But I don't think it's like that. I don't think it's like that. I think we all make mistakes, and we all move forward, and we try and be a better version of ourselves than yesterday. Well, I know I do especially, and I know like Jess does. We make decisions, and then like that's that's it. Like we just have to carry on and figure this out. You know. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. Could have handled like certain situations better, sure. But again, it's kind of led me to where I am now. Like, and I think I've said this a whole bunch of times, but like, I wasn't. I had got to a point in wrestling where I wasn't happy. Like my whole run as a Progress champion, I like look at photos of myself, and I just remember a person that was so fucking sad and so stressed about everything, worrying about like online critics, and just just I don't even know how I functioned back then. It just seems really weird, and like, yeah, I don't know. I look at that person and I think of like how far I've come since then. So like to say like I regret anything that's kind of happened is like it's like, yeah, but you become such a better person personally, you know. Professionally, sure. I don't know, but like again, it's fucking. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm trying to rebuild my reputation and stuff, so I can get to a position where like my personal life and my professional life balance out, and maybe I'm not feeling so insecure anymore, or angry. Oh, fuck, I definitely feel angry still, but that's stuff that I'm working on every single day. You know? Yeah. So, um, that was that. What else we got? Let me just check what I wrote in my notes. Upcoming events. As I said before, on Friday I'm in Guatemala. Um, I don't, yeah, I'm in Guatemala. Sorry, I was just still thinking about what I was just answering. I was trying to carry on, and I'm fucking like still here, like thinking about it. Yeah, just any like that thing. Any regrets? Like I looked at it and it kind of made me feel like I feel like anybody like it kind of like affected you. Like when I saw the question, like it affects you in your heart a little bit. Like fuck, yeah. Like of course I've got regrets, but then you think about it really, and it's like, but I'm in such like a better state of mind. How can I be regretful of anything if that was to get me to this path? Get me on this path and get me right, and allow me to find somebody who values me, in Jess. And I got my. And here's another thing too, like, and it's not, and like, there's like little coincidences about things that happened as well. As like I got with Jess, you know, and this was little just I think as we were going into lockdown and the pandemic, and if I didn't, fucking hell, oh, this is a lot, but we can back up a little bit. Like for me personally, after all the stuff that went down with ex girlfriends and that particular girl, like I was in a space where like I didn't want to be around girls at all. I just wanted to take time for myself and just work on myself. And they say stuff about God's timing or like the perfect timing, and it was because once I was like better in my head mentally to accept somebody else into my life, um, you know, Jess came around, and now I've been with her for 4 years. But then, like, talking about coincidence, what I was about to go into, right before lockdown, she started working at this place called the Fox, um, and and her boss was selling puppies. Now, which would eventually be us getting Benji. Now, I have I had a dog for like I had like a family dog for 19 years. She was 19 before she died. We love that dog. We still talk about it to this day. And even when I think about it now, makes me a little bit emotional. And for a long time, I was really, really like, I nearly got a dog, but then I didn't. I was really worried about it. I really wanted to make sure, like, I really made the effort, and I researched about it, and I gave it a good home, and I put things in place, and I did for this, and my dog, and so yeah, so we got Benji, and then having Jess and having Benji at that moment in time, especially as Speaking Out came in, was the fucking like on like I couldn't have asked for two things in my life that I needed more than ever. You know, Benji, like having a like having a purpose every day to wake up and have to look after this little guy and walk him and feed him and put my responsibility, like he was a responsibility that I needed to focus on instead of everything else. All that fucking bullshit that's out in the ether that people were saying and shit. I just needed to focus on what was real in front of me. And having Jess and Benji come around at that fucking perfect time was like incredible, you know? And so that's why when I think like about any regrets, it's hard to be like, yeah, well maybe I regret doing this or getting with this person or whatever, but it all led me to having them in my life, and then subsequently like her family and and the rest is history. But like, so yeah, it's just yeah, that question kind of fucked me up a little bit. I still think about it. All right, move on. We'll wrap this thing up. I'm in Guatemala on Friday. Can't wait. It's always a great show. Then on Monday, no, Friday. On Saturday, no, Sunday, I'm in Monterrey for Rompi and the Madres. It's me and Grand Metalik from WWE versus Emperador Azteca and Kabaddi, I think, which would be a fantastic match. I'm really excited to team with Grand Metalik. Nuevo Laredo on Tuesday. Oh, fuck hell, what am I saying here? Sunday, Rompi and the Madres. Monday, Nuevo Laredo for Cantu Promotions. And then Tuesday, I'm in Aeroporto for Two Fees Promotions. So that's my schedule coming up, and then I have another one at the end of the week. I think it's just a Mole show for Perot, AAA referee. But yeah, so that's me. I'm gonna be very busy. Hopefully my knee holds out. Hope you guys have enjoyed listening to the podcast. Sorry for the bit of an emotional one. Um, but yeah, I think this is like it's important for me to do something with my time whilst Jess is away, and this is like great therapy for me, getting it out there, loading this up, sending it into the ether, and having you guys respond and message me about it. It's great. Thanks so much for listening. If you want to follow me on Instagram, Travis_Banks13. TikTok is at Kiwi Buzzsaw, and my Facebook is Travis Banks Pro Wrestler. Thanks for watching, guys. If you could share it, like it, subscribe, all that fucking stuff, that would be fantastic. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.